Welcome to another episode of Lifelong Learner. This is the Out of Class edition with Ben, Janesh, and Matt. Hope you enjoy.
Welcome back, everyone, to another episode of Lifelong Learner. Ben, I can see you've just changed your filter. Welcome, Ben. Welcome, Matt. How you doing?
Good to see you, boys. Good to see you. Good to see the dynamic duo over there together.
We're in person again.
If anyone's watching this on YouTube, you'll notice that the two boys are looking really smooth. They've got that touch-up filter happening.
I don't know.
Very Hollywood.
I'm not sure if we know how to put that filter on.
I do want to know how.
100% there is a touch-up filter on. 100%.
I don't know.
I'm going to take
woke up looking good.
I'll take a screenshot of our settings here, of our video settings, and
But it's very smooth.
It is strange because I don't have a single line here.
There's no lines on your face. Yeah, but that's okay. It's good. Some of us need it, some of us don't. Hey, good to see you, boys. We were just chatting off air, so here comes the plastro. You guys happy just to talk amongst yourselves for just a minute?
Yes.
And I'll be back.
No worries. Matt, so last episode, the first episode of the year, we talked very serious. But I was going to ask both of you, now we're in February, how has the year started? There's usually this bit of energy at the start of the year, everyone's New Year resolution-wise and all of that jazz. How's the year started?
Like far lap out of the gates.
So for those
Flat
Americans listening that probably don't know what far lap or who far lap is.
Horse racing reference.
Yes.
I don't know why that came to me. It's been, for me and you, I've seen a lot of you, it seems flat out. There was a bit of a holiday that happened quickly. They call it Christmas and New Year, and then bang. It's just been, I was going to say balls to the wall, but you're not allowed to say that on a podcast.
But you just did.
Whoopsie. Flat out. How about you?
Yeah, mate, it's been since that second week. We had that week away. We were up in Boyd Town for a week, and it has been. It's just go, go, go. Usually I feel like I've got most of Jan to relax into the flow. And there's just a lot of things going, which is good. It's an exciting good, actually. Ben, we're talking about how our years have started and how usually this time of year, we're February now, but there's usually a lot of energy, a lot of either new projects or New Year's resolution-esque type energy around and whizzing around. And last episode, we didn't actually talk about our start of our year, and both of us were saying that this year's been not necessarily busy, just more on earlier. All good things, though. All good things. However, it started earlier. Usually for me, would start probably mid-Feb or start of Feb. It started a lot earlier. What about you, mate? How's the start of this year?
I think we talked about that. Did we not talk about that towards the end of last year about, lots of people are still asleep. Like we're literally waking up this week.
Yeah.
And they've gone through, December starts, time to start the barbecues, party time, drinking, eating, taking their foot off the pedal. Christmas not far away. The shops start to have Chrissy stuff happening. You can buy mince pies and, blah, 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 blah. Christmas comes, then they think should get back into it. But you know what? Let's keep partying. And then all of a sudden it's Australia Day, time to get the kids back to school. Okay, kids are back to school. Now, what's happening? 2023. A lot of people are like that. But we spoke about that last year and we had a conversation around this is the time to actually lean in. This is the time to go, go, go. February is the time to start taking a break and taking a breather. And that's certainly been true for me. And I think maybe that's kind of, been true for you guys this year, is you just kind of want to kick into 2023 strong. Because a lot of us kind of, just fell over the line, I think, into 2022. But starting 2023 strong. We also spoke, I think, about, October, November, December, and just the first part of January was pretty tough. There's been a real tough period globally, both economically, socially, from a place of community. It's been a really weird, funky time. I know personally from my business coaching work that lots of businesses just found those periods really tricky and really hard to navigate. The good news is, though, it's over. It's all over. As of last week, the tide has turned. We are about to hit the biggest growth period we've had in over 20 years. The biggest growth period in over 20 years. In fact, the last 3 to 4 months, they say, was tougher than the GFC on businesses. No one's really talking about it because it was such a short period and there didn't seem to be one big thing. But when you think about it, last year, we had the hangover from COVID. We had a war in Europe. Russia was invading another country. We had, interest rates on the way up. We had the lowest level of unemployment ever. It was tough to get team out there. It was like a really weird time. It was a really tough time. Well, boys, the tide's turned. Like this next 2 to 3 years is going to be the biggest growth we've ever seen. So for those of you listening,
I want to question that. Do you base that, obviously it's on, there's been some reading and stuff. Traditionally, whenever there's a big drop in productivity, something happens, there's always a big bounce back or a big recovery. And you're suggesting that we're sort of come through that and now we're going to have this big recovery. Is that sort
big
of
recovery, but it's a little bit of a dead cat bounce.
Because I was going to say
it's going to recover. And then in 3 to 4 years, we're going to have the biggest crash we've ever seen in history.
So when you say growth, and just to clarify for listeners, are you saying growth in everything?
Everything.
Because there's
in community, in technology, in wealth, in people spending. It is going to be a phenomenal 3 years.
Do you think, though, say specifically in Australia? So I agree with the tech stuff. Seeing already what we're second week of Feb now, and there's been a lot of stuff coming out in the tech world in the last probably 6 weeks. But say with spending, though, say in Australia, they're saying, and again, I'm no finance person, but in the end of April, nearly 35% of Australians come off fixed, right? And then there's another raise last night or yesterday. And do you think that's going to change discretionary spending, right? And other bits and pieces?
Yeah. So if any of you two have got a mortgage that's fixed and it's coming off in April, are you aware that it's coming off in April?
Oh, mine came off last year, and
were you aware that it was going to come off?
Oh, I was really shocked when the fucking...
You were shocked.
You're
disorganised.
I was super disorganised.
Everyone else come April, they know it's coming off. They know interest rates are 3 or 4, percentage points or percent higher. Like, they're ready. They've already got it budgeted in. They're ready for it. It's the unexpected that knocks us. We are now used to paying $2 for diesel. And it's a pleasant surprise when I saw diesel was like $1.93 the other day. It's like, wow, cheap.
This is winning.
I sold my diesel car because $1.70 feels way better.
So I think, mate, I think we are. I think it's going to be turning. Governments are opening up. They've stopped their policies. We're going to have an influx of tourism and overseas people coming back into our universities in Australia, but this is going to happen globally. It's not just Australia. It's going to be a really cool time. It's going to be a really, really cool time. But we need to be ready because now is the time to make hay while the sun shines, because the sun will stop shining and it will come on really quickly. So you want to be, storing your chestnuts, or nuts, something.
Screw it all away.
It's going to be an exciting time. But yes, it's been a big start to the year.
Yeah. All right. So with that growth phase, mate, that you're feeling, is that what inspired a purchase of a recent toy?
So you've got to start spending, right?
Right?
Ben's stimulating the economy.
It's part of this
the one.
self-fulfilling prophecy. It's like people are spending it. I'm like, mate, I don't really see that.
No one's spending. Ben's spending. Don't worry, I got you guys covered. I'll get the whole economy going again, one vehicle at a time.
Someone's got to be that first push on that big boulder, right? It's the hardest push, right? And Ben's like, I'll do it.
Put a rocket in space or buy multiple. What have you bought, man? Please,
Mate, well, look. Let me tell you why. Because there's a deeper reason
there's a
behind
justification here, and I bet you went with this why with Michelle and everyone else around before saying what he bought.
pretty sure it was why not? Story ends. Introduce the new.
Here we go. This is deep, guys. So you want to listen in.
Yeah.
Michelle and I have a saying. We've had it for many years. If you're not growing together, you are growing apart.
Oh.
Now, the key to that saying is not hanging out together, not like being together. It's growing together. Are you doing something that stretches you, that challenges you, that makes you kind of feel a little bit nervous together? And so a lot of couples kind of do stuff together, but their heart never races together. And so we're kind of having a chat about that. We're not doing much growth stuff. We're doing stuff in business together, but it's and we love it. But where's the fun in it? Where's the kind of exciting bit in it? And we kind of realised there wasn't a lot, right? So we said, we're sitting down literally in this room and we're going, what can we do? And Michelle said, why don't we get some push bikes? We could get some push bikes together and we could go riding together. Look, we could, but we're sort of on a bit of a hill, and anywhere we ride from here is going to be downhill. And you're probably not kind of a bike lycra.
Anyone that knows you, Ben, knows the moment bike came out, you were like, yeah, but let's put a giant engine on that bike.
I know. And so I said, you're more the bike with the basket on front, and so that will be great, but the novelty will wear off pretty quick riding down the hill and having to ride up, and, it'll be good for a few rides. But what if we got motorbikes? Now there's no pedaling, right? So now, interestingly enough, on our 20th wedding anniversary, I bought Michelle a motorbike and we went and got our motorbike licenses together.
That's cool.
20th wedding anniversary. Well, mate, this month is our 30th wedding anniversary.
Oh, wow.
So 30th. So here we are now 10 years later and we're doing the motorbike thing again. And so I said, let's get some motorbikes. She said, we could get a couple of little scooters. I went, let's get some little scooters. Well,
show us your little scooters, will you?
You realise that the little scooter's not going to actually cut it. That novelty would probably wear off. So we need to crank it up. So we bought, I bought Michelle another scooter, a bigger scooter, certainly a bit fancier than the one that I'm looking at on the veranda right now. Very fancy. And then chatting with a few mates, they said, mate, you don't want to do a scooter. You need to get yourself a proper motorbike.
You're not a scooter man.
So, mate, I bought myself a proper motorbike, and so now we have a nice scooter and a nice motorbike, and we had our first ride together last night.
Nice.
Which was
how was the first ride together,
mate? Michelle was super nervous because it's been ages since she's even ridden the scooter that's here. The new scooter is about 200 kilos, so it's a big boy. And my motorbike has these things called gears. Gears.
Yeah.
And so there's a lot going on.
Yeah, I could imagine.
Every foot and every hand is constantly moving and doing things, changing gears.
Wait till you get the sore wrist. Just from that action, if you ride for like an hour or two, you haven't ridden for a long time, forearm hurts. Crazy.
Yeah. There's a lot going on. There's a lot going on. And indicating. I'll just let that one go.
But you have a Beamer, so that
another button.
That would be the automatic. Does it cancel when you make your turn?
Michelle's does. Mine doesn't.
Yours
cancel.
doesn't.
He didn't pay.
Mine doesn't cancel.
He paid extra, mate.
You always see the new riders riding along down the highway with their indicators still going. You're like, okay.
Mate, mine didn't flash because I just didn't even turn it on. Listeners, naughty.
Well, when you got that much power.
It was just another button. I couldn't, I was too busy trying to get.
I could imagine that dash, like when the handles, there's so many buttons. I would just be confused. I'll be like, just where's the accelerator, where's the brakes, where's the clutch?
See,
there are a lot of buttons, and Michelle's has got full, TFT screen. Wow. It's got, it's got Apple CarPlay basically on it, you know, maps and
Speakers. Can she sits back? It has music.
No, it plays into your headphones, but it's all on the screen in front of you. Mate, you probably shouldn't be selecting music when you're riding along on your motorbike and putting in map directions as you're riding along. But anyway, it's got that functionality. So, and mine's got, you know, hers got the heated seats and heated grips. Mine's got buttons on the thing for heated grips and changing the suspension. It's got full electronically adjustable suspension. God knows what I was riding it in. It could have been like pro sport mode last night. Who knows? But anyway, mate, it's a lot of fun, guys, and built this nice little space for to park the bikes. So it's a bit of a showroom so we can see the bikes. You know, like sometimes, you know, some really cool pieces of equipment we tuck away in the box or in the cupboard, or, you know, we hide it away in a room or in a garage. Well, these are just beautiful looking bikes. So, mate, I built a special room, glass sliding doors. So whenever we go into the garage, we can see these two beautiful bikes sitting there, and they're calling to us to go for a ride.
And I think just on that, when you appreciate, like you obviously really appreciate the bikes, you appreciate the experience, you've created a space, then that's just more connection, right? It's this appreciation. It's not just something that you, as you said, you tuck away and you use sometimes, because it's got a central place for as long as it does. There's a excitement, I imagine, when you look at them and when you go in there and you're getting into your gear, and it's just this really cool experience.
Mate, speaking of gear, the bikes were cheap. Gear.
So you're full leathered up, Kevlar and all your...
We're not. We're summer geared, and
so when you say the summer geared, like Ben just walked off the screen for just the listeners here.
Let's see what his summer gear is like.
You know what I'm thinking is Matt's summer gear when he rides his motorbike in Indonesia is thongs, boardies, and a singlet or no top that's got gravel rash written all over it.
No,
the summer gear is not quite like that, although it has been in the past on the scooter. But as soon as you say motorbike to anybody, right, they go, "Oh, death machine."
Everyone,
cheese grater. You're going to be like, you know, and they just put the fear of God in you. So yes, we went out and bought some
full pants and jackets,
Kevlar jeans. The jeans with Kevlar in them. How cool is that?
They're amazing.
You could bullet into these jeans and they would bounce off.
Or slide along the tarmac at 100 and something and get up and get back on.
Yeah.
Always still have your skin.
Speaking about Indo, this really excites me, because when you come over, we get to go riding together. And the riding in Lombok is world class. World class. All brand new, fresh tarmac. Like hundreds of kilometres of it. And a brand new racetrack, which we get to slip someone $100 and... Let's go around a world-class racetrack.
Do they have world-class bikes to ride on the world-class road?
That's a little bit harder.
Mate, but however, there is a no Kevlar rule. So over there, no Kevlar. No Kevlar, and open-toed footwear, please. Optional footwear, rule there.
It's the reverse, right? You know, in the Western world, we get safer, we get more airbags, we have more accidents. Because people get lulled into a false sense of security. Take away everything. Take away a helmet. Take away your shirt. Take away shoes. You're very careful.
So,
be careful.
Question with that. Why is that? Like, I've asked that question on a number of different
I was being
things.
facetious.
No, but like in terms of lots of industries, right? So obviously now in Australia, in Victoria, we're a nanny state here, right? And those that know what nanny state is, we're Australia 180s in 180 in Australia, in Victoria, and there's a lot of regulation. But say 10, 20 years, whenever, like even 5 years ago, when there wasn't much, was it that there just wasn't these things happening then, or we just didn't know about it? So I'm aware that maybe we just didn't know about it, and it comes across as, these accidents just never happened. Now that we've put all these regulations in, all this red tape, all these safety measures, more accidents or more things are happening that we're trying to actually prevent.
We have a blame culture. We definitely have a blame culture, and And we also have a culture that's designed to cover people's asses rather than truly to save lives, right? So you look at, like the cronies at work cover. I remember a patient coming in and they have this machine that presses something. And so what they did is they put up, for safety purposes, they put up these lines. And at the bottom on the line, it said, "Do not cross the line." Like it was like 1.5 meters away from the machine, right?
Do not lie in machine.
People would cross the line, right? And so, and there was no accidents, but people would cross, and so they went, okay, so we've got to put up a fence. So now they put up this little fence with a gate. And so, if you actually want to get into the machine, you've literally got to open the gate. Big warning saying, do not open gate while machine is operational, blah, blah, blah. People open the gate. So he said, just recently we had work cover come out and they go, no good. So they've installed lasers so that when people cross into the space, the laser picks up to the person's in the space and shuts the machine down.
So this is what I think. This is just my opinion, man. But I think it's a an inverted U, right? If we were to graph what happens here with safety, is of course zero safety. There's going to be some issues. Mm-hmm. As you start to increase safety, it gets better. But at some point, it takes away personal responsibility, and so it does this big dive back down and you start having heaps and heaps of problems because people are lulled into a false sense of security. I can't hurt myself. There's a gate there. I'm wearing a helmet. So I don't even need to be here. I can be in my head thinking about what I'm doing on the weekend or stressing about something else. And I missed the sign that says don't put hand under thing. And I truly believe I can't hurt myself because they've taken care of everything. And the reality is...
And even when you do, Matty, someone's got to be blamed for it because it couldn't just be that you're a dumbass.
Yeah.
It's got to be someone allowed you to be a dumbass.
Yeah. So I think about 10 years ago.
How do you feel about that, Janesh?
Mate, it's fascinating because usually I'm in the position I'm in at the moment, I am the person that gets the blame for fucking everything, which is interesting. But it also makes me think 10 years ago working at a summer camp, I ran a class called, where I was at a very left-wing liberal arts summer camp, right? So you could teach these out-of-the-ordinary classes as long as there was some educational purpose, right? So what I mean by that, we would teach a class one time called throwing stuff. So you would throw all these things. So you would get these non-sporty kids go, I want to know how to throw a watermelon. I want to know how to throw this box. But you're actually still teaching them the skill of throwing, which is quite cool. But we had a class, and in hindsight, if I went to run that today, would not be allowed, right? It was called jumping off stuff, right? And we all started off from little steps, right? Jumping off things, kind of taking the piss. And then on the third day, they've got this massive balcony, right? And this balcony's got this hole in the middle where it's all barricaded off, and there's this garden in there. So we went to cabins and pulled up mattresses and all that. And I'm teaching these kids to jump and go, just soft fall, you'll be fine, right? Soft fall, soft knees. And they're jumping 2-3 meters. No harness, no helmet.
Onto a skanky mattress.
There's probably 10 mattresses together. We had some of the senior staff, one of the senior staff got up playing guitar while jumping, and all great times, some good memories, 0 accidents, right? In terms of, it wasn't done in a reckless manner. It could be seen as a reckless manner, but in terms of they progressed, they had to learn how to do soft falls between all of them. But now, even if you did all of that now, it'll be nah, that's a lawsuit waiting to happen. That's a knee dislocation. That's someone's face is going to go into their knee. At the same time, that was one of the highlights of some of these kids' experience for the 3 weeks there, because they could do something that it's taboo. I can't jump off the top of that building. I'm well, in this class, in these parameters, yes, you can.
I think people forget like, because there's groups, organisations that are meant to keep us safe, they kind of forget that we also don't want to injure ourselves. Like, no one wants to get hurt. I remember I had a partner and her dog would walk up the stairs, and it's 2 stories up to the house, and there's a banister, but the dog's smaller than the banister. And she would freak out. She'd go, "Oh, careful, Ellie's going to fall." I go, "No, she's not. She doesn't want to fall. She's going to be fine." Like, we're all programmed for longevity. We don't want to injure ourselves. I think people think really quite less of people. Like, most people have got their shit together and can walk up a flight of stairs without falling off the banister. Do you know what I mean? Like, people can jump. We're human beings. We're the peak of evolution. What's going on?
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't know. When Ben said, "Oh, what do I think about it?" I'm in a position where I understand a little bit where it's coming from, and it's just you can't change it. You can't change regulation. You
can move countries though. You can. So I'm designing a pool right now.
You can, yeah.
Right? And I want to be able to.
Is your pool of 1.8 metre fencing, Matthew?
So here we go, right? So I'm designing this pool and I want to be able to jump off the roof of our restaurant into the pool, and I want to run this activity called walk the plank, right? And in my mind, I'm like, I had 6 to 7 metre jump, probably need 3.5 metres of pool, right? Half the height. I'm just saying I'm building this activity. I'm building my pool, designing my pool at the moment. I want to be able to jump from 7 metres into the pool. And the designer's like, "Are you sure you want to do that?" I'm like, "Look, mate, just trust me. This is going to be great. People are going to really love this activity." And he goes, "Okay." And then Kat is like, "Well, have you looked up the specifications for how deep the pool needs to be?" And I said, "Kat, we're in Indonesia. Throw those specifications out the window. I've already done the maths." She's like, what are you basing this on? I'm like, "My experience. If there's 7 metre jump, as long as I have..."
No math. The math and experience, they're 2 separate things. Keep going.
7 metre jump, half of that needs to be water, so 3.5 deep, and I'm going to teach them, I'm going to facilitate how to jump into, and I would call this moderately shallow water, how to jump. And I said, it won't be open. The top floor won't be open. It'll be a facilitated thing only. We'll probably do it maybe 20 times a year for surf camps. And she's just shaking her head the whole time. And I'm like, we'll leave the middle floor, 3 metres, open. You jump from 3 metres into 3.5 metres, you're never going to hurt yourself. 7 metres, 3.5, sure. Look up the regulations, 4.5 metres deep for a 7 metre jump. I don't care if you hit terminal velocity in a pin drop. You are not going 4.5 metres underwater from a 7 metre jump. And if anyone knows anything about this and they want to put a comment in the...
Mate, I would have thought 3.5 metres was over-engineered.
That's what I thought.
Yeah.
That's a lot, right?
It's a lot.
Plus, I don't think we have that much distance. I think we're only 3 metres to water levels, so...
So maybe if you keep digging, the sea will come
Bottomless
in.
pool.
And it keeps filling itself.
We're in the ocean now.
And obviously you got your pool fences there, don't you, man?
No, we're not having them. They're going to wreck the aesthetics. I want open plan.
So Matt was saying, I said, look, just because there's regulation, you just kind of, you get it. You don't agree with it all the time, but you just got to play the game. And Matt's like, "I just moved country," and he's like, "Oh, there's Indonesia. There's no regulation."
I'm going there.
It'd be interesting to know in pools there how many drownings there are, right?
Yeah.
And again, I don't know if it's a lot or a little, but like in comparison to pre-pool fence regulation here in Australia,
but again,
what are the numbers?
I'm going to get in trouble for saying this, but I think if there's a pool fence, maybe I shouldn't say this.
Say it.
If there's a pool fence and you're on holiday, you might not keep your eyes on your kid, but if there's no fence, I'm keeping my eye on my kids. I'm not letting them go near that pool. And
this is the pool, by the way, that's 5 metres from the ocean that doesn't have any fence at all.
And no lifeguards, no nothing. It is interesting. Obviously, as I can say this as a parent of 2 young kids, we'll go to a pool somewhere And I'm not sure if it's the fence or just people think that a pool is like safe. I don't get it. But they're like, parents still switch off all the time. Like completely switch off.
Yeah.
And I'm like, they got their head buried in the phone. And you're like, oh, kid's getting tired.
But you see the gate open.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a fortress. It's got an opening, and kids are smart. They just wait by the opening. Somebody leaves, gate opens, kid goes in. So, yeah.
That's interesting.
I think for us, because Indonesia is obviously not as strict, I'm going to do my best to be as close as possible to Australian standards.
But he's only going to have a 2 meter
when it
drop.
makes sense.
Yeah.
When it makes sense. If it doesn't make sense, then I'm going to do my best not to do it. But certain things make sense. Some things, they don't make sense.
No.
And
I agree. And I think we've talked about this before, but, we see this starting at home where parents won't even let their kids jump from 0.5 metre just in case, let alone 3 metres. And so the kid never gets to experience what 0.5 metres like and how to jump properly and how to take personal responsibility and how to think it through. It's this lawnmower / helicopter parent thing. But the world, out there in the real world, you often don't get a 0.5 metre to try on.
No.
The world puts you at 3 metres.
Yeah. Yeah. Especially I think the expectation is also sometimes, I think with the current younger generation is, I want that 3 metre jump. But they haven't done any work for it. They haven't done the 0.5 metre, the one little step, like a 2 metre, whatever. I want the glory of the 3 metre jump, and everyone else is doing it. But they don't realise sometimes, maybe everyone else has maybe done a bit of work before that glory of that 3 metre jump. And as you said, Ben, I don't think they've been given the opportunity to do that. And because they're like, nah, little Billy, you're gonna hurt yourself on that. Nope, don't do that.
So how do you learn? Do you know what I mean? Like, I learned to do a backflip, and I can do a backflip. I landed on my head. And then I never landed on my head again. Like, you know what I mean? And it was on a mattress, and so I was okay. I just think that, sometimes there's so much focus on safety that we don't let people live an experience, and that sets them up later for a bigger issue because they haven't learnt some of the skills required to, fall or to catch themselves.
And that pain and hurting yourself is normal. I remember I had a poster in my old practice, and it was a picture of this little baby with this beautiful kind of angelic looking face. And it said something like, every time our kid gets sick or has a pain or an ache, we give them a pill to take the pain or ache away. And we do that when they're little kids. And then when they become teenagers and shift into adults, they no longer have the ache or the pain. They have emotional pain, and they haven't learnt to deal with it. And we wonder why things go wrong. And I think life is fragile. It is impermanent. Nasty shit's going to happen. Have you guys had any nasty shit happen to you?
Yeah.
But it passes. That's what you're saying. You learn that it passes.
It's part of it.
It sucks. 2 weeks in bed, can't move. My arm's killing me. But I watch it heal. I see it heal, and I walk away. And to speak to your point, if I can physically see myself heal, I can go through the worst pain ever and feel like I'm going to die, and then I heal. How inspiring is that for you? The next time it happens, you know, pain isn't here to stay. It's here to pass. It's the same as my arm. Emotional pain. I get hurt. Well, that's the same. I just need to rest, recover, be kind to myself. It will also pass, just like my arm healed. I think that's...
It's exactly right. And there's this kind of concept out there that life is going to be pain-free. I often talk to my practitioners and certainly to my kids as well, when they come and they've got a little bit of a challenge, and I'll say, I got to tell you, there's nothing compared to what you got coming. You got some nasty shit coming. Yeah. Ugly, really bad shit is coming.
Mate, it's true.
And it is. We're all going to have some really dark moments. If you can get through life without dark moments, I don't know what you're doing, right?
You're not living. You're hidden in
and today's dark moment is nothing compared to the next dark moment. We're going to have loved ones die. We're going to have serious sickness and illness. We're going to see some nasty shit. that is living. That's just what life's like, sadly, or just not even sadly. It just is. It's just a fact. And so constantly trying to protect everyone from ever experiencing anything bad is like it's a utopian kind of, and we've all seen the utopian movies, right, where everything's trying to perfect, but underneath the surface it ain't really.
It's not really, yeah. Ben, as a health practitioner, what would be your definition of the need of the body showing pain, like physical pain? Why is that, and why is that potentially important?
Well, it's one of the ways the body has, like, it's like the red light dash on the dashboard of your car saying, hey, like something's a bit out of kilter, something's a bit dysfunctional. You might want to kind of sort that out. You might want to pull over and just kind of get it sorted rather than just keep on driving. And, this pain that comes up, it's not something to ignore. It's something to notice. It's not something to resist or try and push away or try and ignore. It's something to kind of notice and ask yourself, well, is there something I can do? What is my body trying to tell me? But we live in a world out there that wants to get rid of pain, wants to get rid of symptoms, but not treat the cause. And you guys would see this at the summit, kids being drugged up. Let's just cover up whatever's going on. Let's not actually try and address the real issue that's lurking underneath the surface. And here's the cool thing. When we address the real issue underneath the surface, we actually get, the iceberg concept, right? There's a tip of the iceberg. That's what you see, but there's really often something bigger lurking underneath. At the other tip of the iceberg is actually that child or that adult's real potential. Like, if we can move past the pain and actually treat the underlying problem, we're actually going to have an opportunity for them to tap into their true potential as a human, not just get rid of the pain or symptom or dysfunction, but actually have them perform at their best as a human. But if we constantly treating the tip, getting rid of the pain, treating the symptom, we never allow them to be their potential.
And just going on with that health practitioner kind of just thought pattern here, if your patients never felt pain, right? And then what happens? I'm assuming, as someone not in that field, that whatever the problem is just increases monumentally till it gets to a point where you're debilitated. But
that's the catch, right? The body's really good at adapting and adapting and adapting. So pain, sadly, is the last thing to show. Heart disease, the majority, 2/3 of all cases of heart attack, do you know what symptom they get? 2/3 of cases? Death.
No warning sign.
How is that a symptom?
They just gone. A third get pain. Wow, that's lucky, right? Oh, something's not right. I got some chest pain. Better do something about it. Cancer. We all know someone who's had cancer, totally asymptomatic until they've got a month to live. So diabetes, type 2 diabetes, asymptomatic. You don't know you've got it. So many diseases that are asymptomatic until the very last minute.
So why do you think society at the moment stray away from pain, and they have a very strong negative connotation to pain, where it's let me get that. I'm not a sadist, right? But pain's not great, but just go, you know what? Let's find a instant gratification relief for pain, right? It's not like a
convenience, comfort, safety. They're the three priorities, I think, for a modern society right now. Convenience, got to be quick and easy, got to keep everyone safe, and comfort is the most important thing. And it's the opposite. Comfort, no growth. Comfort, no magic, really. It's nice every now and again, but we're stuck in this place of, luxury, really, where we're not forced to evolve and grow and become something more. We've got everything we need. I can watch something at the touch of a finger. I can sit comfortably. I don't have to do anything. I think that's a big part of the problem. It's the rhetoric, it's the goals, the values that we've set for ourselves. This is what we're striving for. Whereas you look at other cultures, they're not. Pain is part of the prize. That's how you become, you know what I mean?
That doco, by the way, on Netflix, did I mention that before? Human Playground.
You did, and I haven't seen it.
I haven't seen it either.
That's on Netflix.
Yeah, really good. And it just looks at human play from different kind of perspectives. And I think there's 6 parts of the series, and each episode looks at play from a different perspective. And I've got to tell you, probably 2/3 of all the play, there's always pain.
Mm. Yeah, and
there's pain in the play.
And that teaches you, doesn't it? Like, so many of us learn like kinesthetically from our experience. And yeah, if you're avoiding pain, you're avoiding learning. Yeah. And one of the biggest problems for all of us is emotional pain, because we can't see it. That's I think where so many people are suffering. But if you never feel physical pain, then you don't have a way to understand emotional pain, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's what Ben was saying before, right? Like young adults now don't know how to deal with emotional pain.
So they take the pill because they're in pain, because when they were a kid, as Ben said, if you've got a headache, take a Panadol. You don't drink water or rest or have a nap, just take the pill. So now that they're older, they feel pain, they take the pill.
As we get older, we've talked about alcohol a lot on the podcast, but like it goes into that. I've had a bad day. You know what? I'm going to have a drink, right? And it's a slippery slope to the reason to have a drink, right? And I'm not like I still drink. I enjoy a drink, but it's that slippery slope of that. I'm going to take this to numb the pain, as opposed to enjoy it or enjoy this actual beverage or enjoy the company or whatever it is. But it manifests from as a kid to now this culture that it's like, you'll be right, just have a drink. And you're like, I don't know about that.
Yeah,
It's become a treatment rather than a decision. We're using it. We use alcohol to treat ourselves, or binging on Netflix to treat ourselves, or watching porn, or
anything to avoid that red light on the dash.
Yeah,
that's sort of part of the solution, isn't it?
Yeah. It's a distraction. You know what? I'm going to put something on top of that red light, so I don't need to look at it, and then eventually you'll turn off, or as you said, we'll adapt to it, and it's no longer painful, and then there's a new way, there's new reference to it, right? But at the same time, there's other complications that come with that as well. There's probably a bigger red light that's about to come later on.
And whatever you do regularly, you get good at.
I think is we become we need to keep increasing the dose. The dose doesn't work anymore.
Increase the dose of treatment. Yeah.
Increase the dose. So 1 glass used to do it. Now we need 2. Just watching 1 episode used to just be enough to take the edge off. Now we've got to watch 3.
Which has a snowball effect.
And where is that line? Like, there is no line to that. And it
keeps shifting. We become dopamine, and we become the dopamine receptors adapt, and so you've got to increase it. You've got to keep increasing to get that same level.
And there's no one talking about that. They're talking about like class A, B, C, D, whatever drugs. They're talking about cigarettes. They're talking about other bits and pieces, but they're not talking about that stuff that's readily available, that's still causing treatment, causing this numbing effect, and causing a addictive nature, right? An addictive culture as well. That it's okay, right? Like I was talking about, we went past a bus stop the other day, and I was like, saw there was just a billboard for some alcohol, right? And I was like, I'm like, how is it that we're allowed to do that, but we can't advertise cigarettes like anywhere? And cigarettes packaging in Australia is completely blacked out, right? So you got these people who on like millions of budgets of marketing dollars, and then they send their product to Australia and it's this blank packet. Like even that one time when they kind of banned Formula Ones, saying, look, no, you can't have your thing on here. And they're like, what do you mean? We're an international race team. And they're like, well, we don't care. And it's fascinating that we allow other things that probably have the same health effect, long term, but it's acceptable for whatever reason.
Well, and we think that, you know, by taking that away, that'll fix people's fix their pain, or it'll fix their, you know, they won't need to treat their pain anymore and cover it up. No, they just move to something else. They move to alcohol, and if we ban that, they'll move to online gaming for hours, or they'll move to, you know, whatever the next thing is.
And the other things are they're socially acceptable, but the biggest pharmaceutical sort of production happens inside you, and so many of these things seem, you know, pretty, you know, not so bad, but they're producing chemicals, and there's still an addiction. You're still creating neurological pathways. You know, the body associates pornography and then dopamine, and so you're creating this addiction that could be far worse for you than an alcoholic. You know, it's the same sort of principle. It's an addiction to something to feel, you know, a certain way, but it's totally acceptable. It's not regulated. It's okay. It's concerning, and all stemming from this idea of avoiding pain. It's like we've just got it opposite. If you move towards your pain, as you said, if I have some physical thing that's hurting and I move towards it, I go, okay, how can I resolve this? I'm going to go see someone who can give me some more information, help me with my mobility. And it's not comfortable. Whenever you hurt yourself and you have to move through it, it gets worse before it gets better, but then it gets better. Always. Like, I can't think of
Here's the cool thing with what you guys do at Summit as well, is that the child is in control of their pain that they're bringing. You know, they get to decide, I'm going to bring some pain. You know, you normally run 5 and you decide to run 10Ks. It's going to be uncomfortable, but you get to make the decision to experience the discomfort versus the universe deciding for you. You know, how cool is it that we could actually personally choose to move into discomfort rather than allow the university to the university, mate,
and
the universe,
establishment there coming
this stems off Matt and his maths about diving in.
Maths and experience.
How deep the pool needs to be based on his maths. I'm feeling.
So in conclusion,
we could actually get to decide.
Yeah, we do. Right. And I'm going to save that for my wrap-up comment. But in conclusion, I'm aware of time as well. What would be your wrap-up of the conversation? We talked about pain, we talked about discomfort, we talked about shared experiences, growing together. We talked about the energy of starting the year. We talked about January being go time, and this year's been an earlier go time than previous years. We talked about growth. We talked about Ben stimulating the economy with both his motorbikes, and he's going to, mate. You're paving the tough road for all of us, mate. So we thank you. We thank you for your hard work. So what would be your takeaways, gentlemen?
I've got 2. I loved your comment.
I'm happy to jump in. So mine is, sorry.
No, go. Certainty wins.
I missed that. But if you're not growing together, then you're growing apart. And the word growth involves discomfort. And so for both of us last night when we rode the motorbikes, we were both nervous. We were both uncomfortable. You know, Michelle got back to, we rode to my brother's house after, 30 minutes of riding around. And she said, I just got to lay down on the couch. I got cramps in my tummy and,
the stress.
It was stress, right?
Yeah.
But, we both had a grin on our face and we were excited about it. And so growth does involve discomfort. Yeah. So that'll be my wrap. Do discomfort together. How about you, Matty?
Oh, I really like that, grow together. Just FYI, I thought that was a really brilliant concept and something that I'm going to look at a little closer, because you get into a pattern and you might start growing together, but gradually you have your own goals, and before you know it, then maybe there's a need to realign and ask the question, what are we doing that's growing together? I thought that was really powerful. I think we all need to get comfortable being uncomfortable and deliberately choosing situations that, as you said, these kids get to decide how much, but we live in a society where we prioritize comfort and there's no growth there. It's a space that we should visit and be grateful for when we are there, but it should be short duration, not a place we live. We should be getting really good at being uncomfortable in preparation for times where we don't get to decide, but we've already built the skills, the strategies, and the belief in our ability to be able to move through it. And that needs to be a deliberate practice, work. And we get to decide how much. If it's raining and you said you're going for a run, go for a fucking run. Regardless of the rain, it'll be a little uncomfortable, but it'll be liberating as well at the end, because everyone else isn't doing it, and that's going to be really powerful for you as a reminder. And as you said, pain's coming, whether we like it or not. I'm going to lose my mum, I'm going to lose my dad, I'm going to lose a friend, and if I can't run in the rain because it's a little uncomfortable, how the fuck am I going to deal with that?
Yeah, no, that's really good. Yeah, cool.
Great. How do you follow that?
Beat that, Janesh.
I know.
Beat that tape.
I would encourage listeners to look at their current relationship to pain. Do you stray away from it? Do you invite it? Do you numb it? Do you actively seek it? Do you actively seek that discomfort? And it's like, and the other end of the spectrum is like fully seeking it, like a David Goggins, right? Like, we'll go seek it because he knows these things are coming, and he calls it like, I'm creating just mental calluses, right? And it's, a trainer of mine ages ago said, like maybe 10, 15 years ago, he goes, train hard, fight easy, right?
Train hard and fight easy. Oh, yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So he was Muay Thai kickboxing coach, and he goes, train hard, train the hardest you can against, like, you want to be training harder than your opponent. So then when it comes fight time, that's the easy part. That's blissful. And it's like putting yourself in these situations with pain, if it's discomfort in terms of physical, emotional, whatever it is, and go, you know what, then it's going to be blissful. And I think remind yourself there is bliss at the end, right? Like when someone's jumping off a tower and having a nervous breakdown on it, it's part of the process. Trust that process. They need to go through this breakdown to get that bliss. If they don't go through that breakdown and numb it and whatever and get fake positivity painted on them, there is no bliss. There might be a fake bliss. There's no real bliss where they're glowing. So I would say, evaluate your relationship with pain. And I would invite it a little bit more into your world.
Good stuff, guys.
Yeah,
so good to catch up. I love my Wednesday mornings. Catching up with you.
So good, mate. And we're just going to a little teaser before we head off, mate. You're inviting a bit of pain this afternoon, and I'm going to leave the teaser there so our listeners know next time. If next time, for whatever reason, it's only Matt and I, it's because Ben invited too much pain. So till next time, everyone.
So that's next episode.
Have a good one. Thanks for listening to another episode of Lifelong Learner. If you like this episode and want to know more and hear other episodes, head over to lifelonglearnerpodcast.com, where you can subscribe to our newsletter, where you'll be the first to know when new podcast episodes come out. And if you want to say hello, tell us a joke, or ask us a question, send us an email at hello@lifelonglearnerpodcast.com. Thanks again.